All right. Hello. All right. Whoa. 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 Okay. So this will be kind of a short video. So we're gonna look at something kind of a cool addition that you could do for the Cubean, and I think other Skywalkers too. This is just a little module that you can make. And what it does essentially just provides you, and the way you could probably set it up is like you have a battery too, is like a wireless thermocouple probe. So who cares? Like, what's the whole point? So that means you can just add this extra point of telemetry as your environmental temperature probe. And you could use it with high beam to kind of like, not necessarily just do environmental temperature, but you could use it for other places as well. If you wanted to check temperature somewhere else, like I might actually use this to put temperature, like a probe right next to the exhaust tube, or maybe even swap out my NTC probe and put a thermocouple and see what that looks like when I roast. There's a bunch of things you can do, and it's just a nice thing to have, and it's not like built into your ESP32. You can create a separate unit while still keeping your other unit unaffected by it, so you wouldn't be like down a unit. You'd build something on the side, it'd be separate, and then you can add it on and use it if you want to or not. So it's kind of a cool addition. It cost about maybe like $20 to build one, and it's not overly expensive, so that's one of the cool parts about it. And of course, this firmware is provided not by me. No, I'm not that smart. It would be by the gentleman that we all know and love on the Discord. It was Mr. Bear himself. This guy's provided a lot of firmware support right next to Fornholio. So those are the real kind of guys behind the scenes that are doing all the hard work, from what it feels like. And then there's just me, where I just show it on the internet and then try to get more people to roast. So anyways, let's look at how the setup is, what you'll need to purchase, and about how much it would cost. So this additional probe, we'll need another ESP32 S3, and you can buy them in 3-packs on Amazon. A max amplifier, you might have to buy a 3-pack of those, and then a thermocouple probe, and you could get those on Amazon if you want, or any custom one on AliExpress or Alibaba, or you could get one. I have a few I purchased so I could fit our units, so we could add a thermocouple to it if we wanted to. But let me show you how this wireless, I say wireless, but it just basically, I'm thinking about putting a battery on it and then just having it like charge it every time I kind of not using it, and it should last for like 8 hours or so. So I don't think the battery will be the issue, but it's just another interesting little module you can add on. So let's go ahead and let's show it off. So this is basically it. No glam, no glitz, just a good old smashed up ESP32 S3. You got your max amplifier, and then you got your probe. This is a thermocouple K-type. What I eventually plan on doing is maybe getting a little breadboard, putting it together, and putting all these parts together, and so kind of like having a little package for myself with a 3D printed case, of course, and then being able to take it on and pull it off on here. So one of the things is you just got to upload the firmware to your ESP32 S3 like we normally do. I've showed them a few times already. First, this has to plug in first. This just needs a power supply, so any kind of like 5-volt power supply. Actually, you just need to plug it into anything and it should convert it. This one turns on first, and then you would try turning on your Cubean or your V1 next, okay? So this has Bear's firmware on it, so let's switch it over to Cubean. Good. And then making sure that works. We'll let that turn a little bit. All right, so if that's on, that's on. Let's turn on high beam. only full screen that. Oh. Fix this. I thought I fixed this. We'll turn this screen on. Oh, actually, I'll make that a little smaller. And this one. This one's freaking out. And we'll do a full screen here. Guess you won't let me do a full screen. That's all right. Anyways, so we're gonna connect this together. Oh. I gotta turn my Bluetooth on. And then we'll connect it together. Good. All right, so once the Bluetooth sign is on, it's connected. So we could double check in here. Now, normally it would look kind of like this, where you would open this screen up, it'd be one beam temperature. And now if this works properly, this should show up. Perfect. All right, so we got two probes. So you got the 25.8 environmental temperature probe, and then the 71 degrees beam temperature probe that's in here. So what I want to do, so now this probe is pretty much, you can use wherever you want it to, right? Just got to make sure that the ESP32 is still connected. It's pretty much a separate system. I could put it on its own power bank, and it'll still run, and it'll still give out the temperature. So what you'll want to do with this is, you know, you could either drill it somewhere, maybe put it in a different location if you wanted to measure temperature. I'm probably gonna use it mostly to measure motor temperature. Is a big thing for me, and I might ask Bear if he could change it to where we could swap it, where it will show on the beam temperature side. I'll just kind of swap the probes around, just so we're able to do something like this, where I could just say I wanted to use a thermocouple today. Or just pull this out. And I'll put this in. Now I'm all set to run a thermocouple. And really, you know, you can do whatever you want, however you want to set it up. So now I am going to roast using my my thermocouple. So right now we swapped the places. The environmental temperature probe's in there. The other probe is off of it, so we should be able just to go onto a roast.
Preheat flow. Auto heating to 199.0 degrees Celsius.
Only thing is now everything runs off beam temperature and I can't flip them. So that's the unfortunate part. So right now we'll use our environmental temperature, our thermocouple as the probe we're going to be monitoring. Put some air on. So for this one, let's just remember we're going to use ET for the roast, as it's technically our bean temperature probe since I swapped them out. And we're just going to kind of see how this bean does with thermocouple. So this will be like my first roast using it as my my bean temperature probe. $150 on the dot. What the fuck? All right, let's go. Just so I'll put this in, just so people will remember, ET is now BT. We'll let this warm up. So right now we swapped the probe out. I took this probe out. This is the NTC probe, and now we're putting a much faster thermocouple in. How it affects the roast, I don't know. It might actually just be the same. It is also a little bit longer, so there'll probably be a little bit of difference. We'll see. Let me find a bean I can, because I want to roast later with that bean to kind of show the difference. So today we're roasting with a Kenya Othaya Gatuyani AB. Transparent sweetness and incredible aromatics with juicy notes of tangy citrus, champagne grape, red fruits, fragrant hints of Darjeeling tea, cardamom spice, and dried wildflowers. So I'm gonna roast this to like a light roast. So I'm gonna actually treat the Cubean kind of like I would treat a Kaleido, in terms of a declining ROR, and then maybe like 1 minute and 30 seconds into first crack is when I'll drop. I don't know if you saw my other videos, but it does have like this declining ROR, kind of similar to the M1 Lite. Not exactly the same. I think there's more radiant heat that happens with the Skywalker or with the Cubean roaster. But it has like the bulb's less wattage. Oh, hi Remix. Oh, I forgot to put on Discord. Yeah, my bad. I knew I forgot to do something. Anyways, I'm probably gonna recap this for the millionth time, but yeah, we're using this is my bear symbol. That's bear. I'm using bear as a probe. So this is gonna be this wireless probe we're gonna test out with the Cubean. So he showed it off last night, but I've ordered some batteries. I'm gonna try to make a little case for it, and then put the ESP32S3, and then put the thermocouple with it, and then technically this is battery powered, so it could be battery powered easily. So I got these little 3.7 volt LiPo batteries that I'm gonna use. So that is the goal for today. let's see where we're at on this. Okay, we're at 202, so I'm going to, and I'm roasting on a thermocouple. So we are using a thermocouple for here. So there's the NTC probe, and then here's the thermocouple. I'm gonna do a comparative roast with the same bean and see how it goes. Do we have a USB port? No, isn't that 20? Wait, what? That wouldn't matter, yeah, because it's just 24 volts. And then the regulator and the ESP32 should handle it, right? I'm always afraid of frying things, but then every time I plug in stuff to USB-C, it just doesn't seem to blow up yet. Yeah, you're right. I'm dumb. I could have just plugged it into the Cubean. That's why they pay me the big bucks. But yeah, Remix is right. I gotta test that out later. I gotta figure out how to turn it on. Also gotta make sure that the polarity is right, because sometimes they fuck with the polarity because they're mean like that. All right, so that's warmed up a bit. So if you've seen bean temperatures at 27, that's because it's literally just dangling on the outside. I guess I could put it here. See what that does. I don't think anybody's an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just a guy who likes coffee. So yeah, so I moved the original NTC probe right next to where the bulb's at. And then I moved the thermal, and then I have I bought a bunch of these thermocouples that fit nicely into the V1 and to the Cubean. Well, let's go to the window. Not window. Let's go to the walls. Now I'm curious to see if at first crack will it be the same temperature as the NTC probe when I put it in later, or will it be like an entirely different roast, or will it follow the same way in terms of all the what's it called, the stages? So only fun nerd stuff from here. This is also backwards as well. Bear put his in an exhaust fan. I'm literally going to use mine just to measure. I've been wanting to measure the temperature of the V1 motor and the V2 motor, and then see how well I can put like a fan to cool it off. Because I really think that's the issue on why they keep breaking, is because they get too hot. So that's at 200 degrees. I'm gonna hit charge. We're gonna follow the blue line, and let's go.
Preheat and turn off PID.
All right, it turns off the heat, so I'm gonna put this at 65, put the heater on. Sorry, I went to 60. Now we're going to see all the amazing advantages of a thermocouple and why they are superior to the NTC probe. I know I'm being a sarcastic little shit, but I think it'll be good to compare. I need to ask for like just a blank background, because I don't always want to follow a profile. I think you could do that. I just got to figure out what settings that is. The purple should be the beam temperature ROR. Okay, so the blue one is the blue line is the ET probe, so that's this one. And then the NTC probe is this one. It's gonna be all messy because it's. I already asked Will if he are you able to switch those two, and he said no. So I'll ask Bear if he's able to do like a switch, like a little switch function where you can be able to put it in and it'll switch what it where the beam temperature temp goes and where the ET temperature goes. TC4 by its protocol does that already. I forgot what command it was, but I know that's implemented into it. I'm probably going to confuse the hell out of this thing. Bear can do anything. Yeah, Bear's literally Bear and Florinholio or Magnum, whatever you want to call him. No name. Hoodie. Sorry, I always get this. I don't know why I keep doing that. Hoodie. Damn, we're gonna zoom by on this roast. I'm just gonna keep. First crack. No, that wasn't it. Was that it? That was one crack. Need multiple. One. I need like, oh, there he goes. 3. First crack. Ooh, I dropped that sucker. I'm gonna go for like a minute 30. All these values are gonna suck because they're all not what they should be. Well, let me move this out the way. So we're following ETROR for now. We're going to minute 30, then we're going to drop. And there we go. My first, well, not my very first, but my first thermocouple roast using the new wireless probe setup that we have. I'm gonna keep calling. I'll legitimately call it wireless when I get the battery on it. Although you're right, I could just hook it up. I'll try it. I'll try one of my crappier ESP32s and see what happens if I hook it up. Should be fine, right? I don't even think we implemented the command to turn it on. Because no one uses the filter fan. Ooh, the chap was hard to get off of this one. Interesting. And I'm hoping for the next one he wants to try out a PT100 or RTD, because I have those as well. So I bought all these fancy RTDs and I put the hole in the wrong spot. Which is okay. I didn't put the hole in the right spot, I guess. But yeah, this is the RTD probe that I want to use next. I'm either gonna make a better hole. Yeah, this hole's off on it, so I don't feel like drilling all of them. Hello. Have you already done a video adding a high beam module? Yeah, I think I have. I think I've done a lot of them. Well, I say I do them, but it's usually they're wedged in between my long stream videos. So now I'm trying to do these short sessions. Like this has only been 30 minutes. I'm gonna stop at 45 minutes. Because my biggest complaint, everyone's like, I don't want to sit through 2 hours of you talking, and it's like, that's true. Or heavily breathing at times. So I'm gonna try to cut these sessions to be a little bit shorter. So maybe I might get one roast in. I'll do a mod, get a roast in, talk about it, or I'll talk about something about a Kaleido. Just to kind of, just try to keep it on point and not let people drag through like 40 minutes or 3 hours of me doing nothing. But yeah, so that'll be my next project, because it's not even a project. It's basically asking Bear if I could just have them try an RTD and I could put a 4 probe one, or what's it called, 4-wire RTD in. But he doesn't have to do it. Anyways, that looks like a mess. This graph looks insane, but it really reads those temperatures though. Looks like it does a pretty good job too. Then I'm gonna do later. I'll probably do a roast using the NTC probe or the normal probe, and then see how it compares to both. It looks like we had first crack around. Let me turn this off. Oh, I didn't hit stop to drop. Fuck.
Automation triggered. Set
Let me fix that.
to 100%.
This is the best part. So I think drop was right around here. Yeah. Yeah, we'll call drop there. I'm going by what the temperature kind of dropped at, and it looks like it dropped right around here. which I'll assume is where first crack ended. But I can also go back and then fix it up later. That don't look too bad. That looks like a fancy curve. And then it looks like shit. It looks fancy. Medium shit. Full on ass. Kind of bad. Makes me feel better when I go to slow. You know, oh, how hot is it in here? Let me see. I could check my Alexa thing. I have this air reader thing in my garage that I installed because my wife was concerned about my health. Damn, one-time password? Let me see. Let me get that temperature for you. Yeah, that's probably one of the coolest changes he's ever done, and it's so clean and easy to do. It's really nice. What the hell? Awful government name. Yeah, I definitely did not use my airwave. That probably would have helped. And it's probably better for my health. But I totally didn't use it, so that was my bad. But yeah, that smoke will linger, so you know, have it exhaust out the room or whatever. And also note, I am using an iPad mini. Ta-da! Feast and envy, Kaleido boys. So lame. Sorry. Anyways, although the light has been pretty good so far. There's a weird air or fan issue. Not really an issue, but I feel like M1 light between 20% and 50%, there's no change. It's just the same. It's the same fan speed. I know that for a fact because I recorded it, and I used one of these BT meters or an anemometer. I use one of these, and between like 20% and 50%, nothing happens. Actually, no, between 5% and between 5% and 45%, there is no change in the air. So there's no speed increase or decrease. It just stays the same value. But when you go past 45 and up, you actually see it increases on a little bit of like every 5. If you compare that to the M1 Pro, you get at least from 0% to 20%, you'll get some ability to change the fan speed, and then between 20% and 45% is nothing, and then 45 and up you get those, you can grade up the fan speed as well. So I mean, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, I paid I paid for those. I want it. So it's not a huge deal. You could always roast it at 50% and just stay there and just go on up. It's not really a big deal. But with the Skywalker, it actually does change a little bit. It's not a huge change, but it does change, and I find that surprising. Because a lot of people think that fan is garbage. And I kind of agree. It's not the greatest for airflow, but it works. And I can tell you right now, it has survived fires. I've found 3 units so far that's caught on fire. Not my units, they're return units, and every single one of those exhaust fans work, unfortunately. So what dies usually is the drum and the controller board, the lamp, bearings probably. Those are the ones that usually go out, but for some reason that exhaust fan, and if you replace it, it's only like 20 bucks. I think it should only be like 10 bucks to be honest, but whatever. But yeah, so yeah, able to roast on the Cubean today. We did it with a thermocouple. I gotta figure out where I want to put an extra thermocouple on if I want to keep using this wireless probe. But I think it's not going to be for everyone. Like a year, if you really want to have your environmental temperature probe, you could do this, and I think it costs probably less than. If I buy a ESP32S3, one of those is 11 bucks. Thermocouple Max. What is this? This is a Max 6675. Max 6675 is about like, I think they're like $5 a pop or something. Let me see. Of course, you have to buy them in 3s, so 6675. Nope, not all max. The all max or the all max. The max modules are $12.97 for 3. So maybe like, yeah, you could say like $4 each if you buy a 3-pack. And then you would just buy the thermocouple. I actually have like, I think I have like 50 of these. If you guys really want to have people switch over to using a thermocouple for their bean temperature probe instead of like a regular NTC probe, or they want to put their NTC probe somewhere else and then their thermocouple on the front. I do have a bunch of these if you want to buy one. I only bought 50, I think I bought 50 of these because the price was pretty good at 50. And the guy was like, I could give you one for like something crazy like 25. Or you get 50 for 50 or something like that. This one I plugged it in right here. So that's what I was using for the bean temperature probe. Oh shit. And then I could just put this one back here. And it's just like an M4. So this thing right here. This is why I like the Cubean a lot, is because it's so freaking easy to change the probe. Like if you want to, if you want to be the ultimate idiot like myself, you could like do hot swap a probe. For what reason? I have no idea. But yeah, what's it? Oh, I meant the device or board. Where do you plug it in? For this one, I just have it. I plugged it into my computer. I want to have it plugged here. This board, my ESP32 is on this thing. I use his M5 dial. But I think I could do this, where if I were to, let me try to do something fancy. I'm gonna make this portable. So it should die, not die, but the temp should change. I'm gonna take this off real quick. Let's go back. So you see the environmental temperature probe is 0. Then I'm going to plug this in to my phone. And that could be like my pretend battery. It should connect. There it is. So yeah. So if you have a little battery source, then you could just plug it wherever you want. I bought a little battery for it so I could try different places to plug it in. The only place I could think of plugging it in, but it's constant 24 volts, I think, out of here. But I think that doesn't matter with these, right? You could plug it in there. Part of me wants to plug it in. Part of me doesn't want to. This is the only working Cubean I have right now. It should work though. I mean, it's just a voltage regulated port, right? Oh, like a extra. There actually might be. Hold on. Let me see. So we could power it. Let's check it out. So here's the Cubean board. It's a lot different. Maybe. Maybe like right here. Right? We could just plug a unit there. It's 24 volts. Like it won't fry the board if it's at 24 volts, right? I think you're right. I could plug it in there for power. There's a lot of places. It would be straight 20, and that's only like what 200 milliamps is my guess. All right, what time is it? Oh, 44. All right, 45. We'll cut it there. I'm gonna keep it short, like I promised. People don't complain that they sift through an hour and a half worth of stuff. But yeah, that was just a quick run through of this cool little project that that Bear's been working on. Always appreciate Bear. He's always behind the scenes doing cool stuff. He did this like in January, I think, and I just been inundated with so many other things that I totally forgot about it until he showed it last night. I was like, oh dang, this thing is pretty cool. So another thing to share with you guys, if you guys are thinking about getting a Cubean, at least you know it's not exactly too hard to put your own probe in. I think the best place would be the exhaust probe, which I think, I don't know, maybe in here? Or pre-fan. There's like a little spot you can maybe drill a hole in and then put it in there and get the air before it hits the fan. We'll see. But that's one of my the things I was excited to share, because I've been doing a lot of motor testing and I just wanted a probe I could put just wherever and I could monitor it while I use high beam. So there's probably going to be I'm probably going to finish the well, let's take a look at it. So let me show you my other side. So that's where all the other stuff's at. So I'm going to finish that project, the V1 Franken Monster, that has a huge server fan in the back to cool the beans, and then I'm going to have a thermocouple on the exhaust, and then have the regular anti-C probe in the front, and that's the one with the the printed out case with I think that's it. I think that's all the upgrades. Oh, and a heatsink. So this unit right here. So once I do all the testing for, I just got to make sure the motor doesn't overheat and the plastic doesn't melt that's holding the board. So I can at least monitor temperatures in there. But this has the this also has the brushless motor that's controllable. Has about like $100 worth of upgrades. Then I got the other ones. I got a regular V2. I got the Kaleido M1 Lite over there. And then over there, if you look over to the right, I've been working on, let's zoom in, enhance. There you go. And that's a stepper motor. That's a belted setup. I've had a belted setup for like a year or two. It's just so expensive. Not expensive, but it costs a lot of money to set up. But I've only heard good things about it. A lot quieter. And I think it's I think it does last a while, but you just have to cool down the stepper because it does get hot back there. Another thing about the motor is that the way it connects to the drum, it actually heats up the motor at the shaft. And that shaft gets super hot, and that shaft is the first thing I think that connects to the plastic gear. That gear to the shaft, that's the first thing that touches the plastic gear, and I think that's like the hottest point. Because if you ever see the drum, I see the drum down there. Bring it. Yeah. There you go. See, I think it's like a little slit right there. That's where the drum connects to. It's a 8mm double cut shaft. So that's probably the reason why, you know, you do back-to-back roasts and it eventually melts. It's actually melting the gear, because that's the first, that shaft gear is the first thing that touches the plastic motor. And that's what probably heats it up and then softens it, and then enough beans are in there, like 500 grams, eventually just tears out the gears from the plastic. My best guess. But anywho. All right. Oh, I went over. All right. Thanks you everybody for joining in. If you have any questions, concerns, or if you want one of those probes, let me know. I think it's like, I don't know, I think maybe like $5, or I forget how much I spent on that one. One of them was really expensive. I think the PT100s with the messed up holes are kind of pricey. The other, I think the thermocouple was a decent price. I'll look back if you guys ever want to buy one. Make sure to give up whatever price it was. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'll try putting a guide up on the Skywiki too, so if in case you want to set one up. Anyways,